Hello everybody, I am going to be starting a brand new playthrough of Satisfactory for all of you to watch and enjoy. And naturally, the very first question that I'm going to have is, which starting area will I choose? While this might seem like a weird choice, I'm actually going to be choosing the Rocky Desert. I actually really do enjoy the Rocky Desert, and I think that it has a lot of potential, but I don't see a lot of people choosing it often. Like, you'll see a lot of people that'll swear by the Dune Desert because of its plentiful resources, or the Northern Forest because, again, plentiful resources, a lot of foliage, things like that. But I do like the Rocky Desert, and I want to go ahead and give it a try. Session name, I'm going to be calling it Pangea. And I'm actually not going to skip the intro. We're going to see how that goes. Alright. Confirm. I'm actually going to be using some very specific iron nodes that I happen to know are just over in this direction. Now, I'm going to ignore this drop pod for now, but we will be back. Just over that away is going to be the nodes that we're looking for, along with all kinds of goodies along the way, but I'm going to be ignoring most of them for now. I am going to be picking up some leaves along the way, hoping to pick up a good chunk of wood too, because the wood will just be more efficient. Ooh, some bacon and garlic. Yum.
Potential edible collected. Reminder that look and smell alone do not provide sufficient data to determine exact risk of consumption. Just because it looks like you can eat it, does not mean it won't eat you. Store this potential resource for later use.
Now, another cool bit of tech in this game is that you can
Eating it and surviving
do a little
does not
slide
count as a valid
with
field
the C
test
button,
does not
and
generate
whenever you're
enough
sliding,
data
you can
for
actually
Fixit to
jump,
make an
and that
informed
will
decision.
propel you
Store
forward
this potential resource for later use.
to get you a good bit of speed. Alright, now we just need to take out this little hog here. The trick, I find... Oh, well, I guess I didn't really use the trick there. But generally what I find is most useful is to kind of stand still, wait for them to charge you, double tap whenever they're about to hit you, take a couple steps back, they're going to normally like circle around and go somewhere else, wait for them to charge again, double tap again. Doesn't work as well whenever there's a group, but it works pretty well whenever you're just having to take one out. Now, we've got the iron nodes. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take off this top bit here.
Next objective.
Just give it a couple good little hits. Now, fun thing about this is that you can just hit E. You don't need to hold down the E button. I see a lot of people trying to figure out ways around having to hold down the E button the whole time. Like, they'll put, like, batteries on their keyboard or whatever else. But you can just tap it, and you'll mine. This game has a lot of different little ways that make it a lot more convenient to play and things. But I see a lot of people, especially in the subreddit, people that'll have like 500, 600, 700 hours in the game that just found out they could just tap E instead of holding it. Stuff like that. Like, the game has a lot of really good shortcuts, but it's not the best at telling you about them. So, I'm going to do my best to tell you about all the ones that I know while I'm playing. Okay, we've got this area a little cleared out, so now what we're going to do is, first thing that we're going to do is we're going to place down the hub. You can use the scroll wheel to rotate while you're placing. You can also hold down or click H, and that's going to actually lock it in place, so that way whenever you move around it doesn't follow you anymore. Additionally, after you've hit H, you can actually use your arrow keys to go further to the left, back, to go ahead and adjust to an exact spot. And whenever you're getting into like decorating and things like that, if you hold down Control, normally it moves in 1 meter increments, but holding down Control allows for it to move in 0.5 meter increments. So we're going to go ahead and place down the hub. Ada's going to talk to us a little bit again.
The hub terminal and crafting bench are only the beginnings of a
But
successful fix-it
next thing that we need to
pioneer,
do is
but
hit the
essential
hub
for
terminal.
next steps of onboarding.
As you can
Once
see, there are
finished, the
9
hub will
different
function as your
tiers, not
base of
counting tier
operations.
0. Tier 0 is
Next
the
objective,
tutorial.
complete hub upgrade 1.
We're going to go ahead and start with tier 0, where we need to do hub upgrade 1. In total, there are going to be 6 hub upgrades for tier 0. But in order to get hub upgrade 1, we need to put in 10 iron rod. Now, in order to get 10 iron rods, we need to have iron ingots. In order to get iron ingots, we need iron ore, which we just mined a whole bunch of back at the nodes. So, again, whenever you're crafting here, a lot of people I see will come up to it and they'll just start holding down left mouse button, and they'll just sit here holding it down the entire time. You don't need to do that. You can actually just tap space, and it's going to go ahead and just keep going. You can go ahead and move your mouse, go wherever you want. You can alt-tab, do whatever you need to do. Send a message over Discord, laugh at somebody in the comments section. So I'm just going to go ahead and craft up all of our iron ore, and once it all becomes iron ingots, I'm going to go ahead and make specifically 10 of them into iron rods, and go ahead and upgrade the hub. And with that, you can see that we have added on some supports
for the fix-it mission.
for the hub.
Next objective, complete hub upgrade 2.
So now the next objective is going to be hub upgrade 2. Oh, and something else that hub upgrade 1 got us access to is the equipment workshop. The equipment workshop is going to cost us, you can see down there, 6 iron plates and 4 iron rods. Now we can also go ahead and click on the little plus sign here, and that's going to add it to our to-do list over here. Now the to-do list is very extensive. You can actually go ahead and really get into exactly what you want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and put in some quick to-do lists for the plans for this video. And I'll see y'all in a second. Alright, I think that'll be a good to-do list for tier 0 for us. Actually, I'll tell you what. I can go ahead and add a exclamation point there. That's what to-do lists will allow for you to do. You'll be able to see exactly how many of any specific items that you'll need. You'll also be able to make notes about exactly what you need to be doing for the save. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started on the materials to make the equipment workshop. And just to clear out this notification, doing hub upgrade 1 also gains you access to the small personal storage crate, which I'll actually use to go ahead and store some of the food in pieces that we're not going to be needing soon. There's also a sort button at the bottom of the inventory to be able to just sort things. I'm not exactly sure how they sort them, but I like clicking on that every now and then just because things get a little messy sometimes in this game. So, equipment workshop, gonna go ahead and place it down. Gonna go ahead and nudge it a little bit. Yeah, that's gonna be good enough. Once we have foundations, we're gonna be able to place things super accurately exactly where we always want them. So, this is our equipment workshop. Right now, we don't have many things that we can actually make in it, just the Xeno Zapper and the portable miner. Though we don't actually have the technology to be able to make a Xeno Zapper yet. So we're very glad that the game started us off with one. You can still add things to to-do lists. You just have to right click on the thing that you want to add and say add to to-do list. So I need another 3 iron rods. 1, 2, 3. As well as 2 more iron plates. And then go ahead and craft this up into a portable miner. I'm going to go ahead and put that into my second hand slot. You can use your scroll wheel to cycle between your hand slots as well. So now, this portable miner, I can bring it on over here to this iron node, hit left mouse button, and he's going to do a little startup animation. After that cute little startup animation, he's going to go ahead and start digging into this iron. And boom, he's going to be making 80 iron per minute for us. So now, let's see here. what do I need to do next for hub upgrade 2? I need 20 iron rods and 10 iron plates. Okay. Let's go ahead and take all of the stuff that's currently in the miner. And we're going to go ahead and start crafting this down. I'm probably just going to go ahead and do a quick cut until this is all fully crafted. So I'll see y'all in a minute. Alright, with all that crafted, we're going to go ahead and bring it on over to our, what is this thing even called? The terminal. Go ahead and bring it to our upgrade terminal. Go ahead and upgrade the hub once again. And with that, you'll see that we now gain access. We got a little bit more supports. We got some walls up. We've got this guy right here, a biomass burner. This is when things are going to start to get interesting, because the biomass burner is going to allow for us to generate electricity.
Fueling the biomass burner with inappropriate materials will result in deductions or even cancellation of your yearly bonus. Complete hub upgrade 3.
So now we have access to power lines as well as a smelter. Now the smelter is going to cost us not just iron rods, but it's also going to cost us wire. And one thing that you'll notice about the wire is that it doesn't look like the wire comes from iron. It actually comes from copper. Now, Ada wants us to scan again for the copper, but I know where the copper ore is not at, but I'll also just scan just to show y'all how the scanning works. You're going to hold down V, and you can kind of just use your mouse to circle around in here to point out what you want to scan for. So, hit V. Whenever you let go, up here at the top of your compass, it's going to go ahead and ding right whenever it finds one. So, as you can see, it does a little ding, and right there is, in fact, a copper node. So, like I did before, just go ahead and take off this top bit. And that should be enough copper for us for now. I do want to get another portable miner on there though. In fact, that's actually going to be my next priority, is to put another portable miner on there before I go about making the smelter. And now that I have that portable miner, I'm going to go ahead and bring it on over here. Oh, I've got to put it in my hand slot again. Oh, and if you ever, I normally find that whatever's in my hand is just taking up too much of my screen, and I just don't like having things like cluttering up my UI. If you hit H, it'll go ahead and put whatever you had up away. So that's nice, just to be able to get a clearer screen. So go ahead and place down another portable miner. He's going to do his startup, and he's going to go ahead and start mining that copper for us. And so now what we're going to do is convert some of this copper ore into copper ingots, and then convert the copper ingots into wire. And I'm going to go ahead and make a couple iron ingots as well, to make those into iron rods. And now we can go ahead and place down a smelter. So we have the smelter, but we don't have any way to actually connect power from the biomass burner into the smelter yet. And that's where this, down here at the hotbar, you'll notice that something went ahead and infiltrated your hotbar. And now you have access to power lines. So what do you need for power lines to be able to hook them up? You need cable. Well, how do we make cable? For a lot of basic materials, you can just make them in the crafting bench, so you can always see what the recipes are from within the crafting bench. But later on, for more complex materials, you can always pull up with using the key O, the O key. You can always pull this up, and this is going to be your codex, and you'll be able to see exactly what goes into making absolutely everything from here. So, for example, making cable. You can see here that the cable is made using wire. You can also see down here that the cable is used when making xenozappers. And you'll also see that the cable is used in a lot of other recipes. And you'll also see that there are more ways to make cable. That's going to lead into something that we saw a little bit earlier that I ignored for the time being. But for now, let's go ahead and craft the rest of this copper into wire. Yeah, at this stage in the game, copper's only really used for wire. Copper ingots are only really used for wire. So you're always safe at this early stage of the game to just craft all of your copper straight into wire. But iron ingots actually have two different uses, so you're not always safe to go ahead and just craft all of your iron ingots straight into one or the other. Not at this stage of the game, at least. But later on, there will be options. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and craft probably about, 10 power lines. Feels good. So now we're going to go ahead and connect these two together. Once we've connected these two together, you can go ahead and go to your smelter and tell it to go ahead and start smelting iron ingots. So we're going to go ahead and grab some iron ingots out of our portable miner. Boom. There's 100 right there. And whenever you slap them in here, what you might notice is that they're not doing anything, that they're not crafting or anything. That's because this doesn't have any power yet. Now, the biomass burner is how we're going to be generating our power, and in order to power the biomass burner, we actually need to put in some biomass. For now, I'm just going to use leaves because I want to save the wood for something else later. So if we throw the leaves in there, you'll see that it starts to kick to life. And the way how this screen works is that there are 4 different things happening. There is your consumption, that is how much power you are using at that moment. There is your maximum consumption, which will show whenever you have multiple machines that aren't all firing at the same time. Your maximum consumption will show you what is the most amount of power that they could draw if they were all firing at the same time. Your production is how much power you're actually producing. That's the one nice thing about biomass burners, is that they never end up producing more than what is required of them in that moment. So you'll see that the biomass burner could be using these leaves at 80 per minute, but it's going nowhere near that fast. That's because it's limiting itself, so it's only using 4 megawatts instead of a potential of 20 megawatts that it could be generating. Practically what that means is that instead of 80 per minute, it's only using about 16 per minute, which is still terrible, but it's a hell of a lot better at least. So now that that's going, we can go ahead and take a look at our smelter, and what we'll notice whenever we look at the smelter is that it's automatically making us iron ingots, which is super duper nice. So we're going to go ahead and pull those iron ingots, and we're going to take a look at what our next objective is. Our next objective for Hub Upgrade 3 is going to be 20 iron plates, 20 iron rods, and 20 wire. So let's go ahead and get all that crafted down. It's a bit of a shame that I've got 16 wire on me, so we've got to go all the way back just to get 4 more wire. Alright, and with that, we can go ahead and throw all that in, upgrade the hub. So now Hub Upgrade 3 allowed for us to gain access to the constructor, the power pole, as well as just a whole bunch of other nonsense. We'll get into all of this in just a bit. But more importantly, what the Hub Upgrade 3 added on to this base is the ability to customize your character. It is at this point that I recommend doing so. So I'm going to go ahead and take a minute, go ahead and customize my character, and get back to y'all. Alrighty, and with that, I think this is what I'm gonna go with for now. I always like to switch it up a little bit with my color scheme, but I'm gonna go with the black and red this time. What we now have access to are these power poles, but we're missing a couple of things for the power poles. We're missing wire and we're missing concrete. Now, to get the wire, we already know how to get that. And we actually already have a ton of copper ore in the inventory. But now we just need concrete. So how do we get concrete? With limestone, which there's a node right over here. You can barely see it with the photo mode, just right there. The limestone's going to allow for us to do a lot of stuff down the road, including actually building a factory. Because right now we're kind of just building onto the ground, and it's getting a little messy because of that. Or it will get a little messy because of that. But later on, we'll be able to build up a factory proper. So we take the limestone over to the crafting bench. Go ahead and craft that down into some concrete. Oh, we got a little visitor in here too. How you doing, bud? This is one of the mobs in the game that is not hostile at all. So, you know, he could just kind of vibe out and chill. There's also... Yep, I saw a couple of them right over here. These little beans here. These guys are not at all hostile. They do occasionally get in the way when you're trying to build. But aside from that, they have no ill intent. There are a couple of other mobs in the game, like you saw the hogs from earlier that was trying to kill me. They're very territorial in general. So, they don't like you walking up on their turf. Let's go ahead and just so that way I can see what is needed for the next one at all times. Okay, so now, power poles. So the way how these suckers work is that you can just place them down, and they are going to allow for up to 4 different cable inputs or outputs to be connected here. But what I'm actually going to do here, I'm going to hit one, and instead of just placing it, I'm going to hover over this cable. And what that's going to do is that it's going to allow for me to go ahead and drag and then place down another power pole. So that way, I didn't need to stop supplying power to this guy. So now, I need another smelter, and for that I need another 5 iron rods. So let's go ahead and get another 5 iron rods. And then whenever you're looking at any particular building in Satisfactory, you can always hit middle mouse button, and that'll go ahead and select that building, so that way you can go ahead and place another one down. Additionally, whenever you're trying to place buildings next to each other like this, if you hold down Control, this little guide is going to pop up, so that way you can make sure they're completely aligned. So now, I've got iron ore, so let's go ahead and get a copper ore setup going. And go ahead and throw some copper ore in there, and connect, and boom. Now this guy is automatically making us copper ore, or copper ingots, I should say. And you can see that this is just chugging through those leaves. So, lizard doggo! Lizard doggos are super duper cute. You can tame them using some berries that we haven't found yet. I should be able to show you all that later. Oh, whoops. Nope, I actually don't want to collect the iron. I want to collect the... Okay, it's not going to let me get those leaves. So, we're just going to run around here for a little bit. Collect whatever leaves and wood we can collect. Now, whenever you are collecting, there's a couple different things that you can do. You can just run up, tap E, or you can just walk up, hold down E, and it will just automatically collect things in front of you. But, and the reason I don't normally do this is that it's not necessarily the fastest, and it can end up missing quite a bit of stuff. So, I find that if you tap E, it's actually going to be quite a bit faster whenever it comes to collecting. But, really, it just kind of depends on what you want to do. Ultimately, have fun with the game, in whatever way you find is the most fun. If you don't feel like tapping E, then don't. Just hold it. And we can go ahead and throw all these extra leaves into here now. They go up into stacks of 500, which is nice, because you end up going through a ton of them, especially in the early game like we're in right now. But alas, we are producing our iron ore and our copper, or we are producing our copper ingots and our iron ingots. I just said that backwards, but we're going to roll with it. Now, the next thing that the game is introducing to us is the Constructor. Constructors are going to allow for us to take these copper ingots and produce them straight into wire, completely automatically. So, how do we make that? Well, we're going to need cable, and we're going to need something called a reinforced iron plate. Now, the cable's simple enough. In fact, I've already got enough. See how that works? But the reinforced iron plates can be a bit tricky. they are going to require, this is the first time that we're going to have a recipe that requires 2 different inputs. It's going to require iron plates and screws to be able to make it. So we're going to go ahead and make some screws. Make some iron plates out of these guys here. Or I guess this wasn't the first recipe because of the portable miner, which honestly I need to get a portable miner on the concrete over there, on the limestone over there. I need more iron ingots, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the 100 from the portable miner. And then just slap another 100 in there. And I think with that, I think they're both operating right now. Oh, nope. This guy's already done. Yep. Okay, so... and with that, we can now make 2 reinforced iron plates. Now we are also going to end up needing more cable because we will need to, you know, connect the constructor to power. But I'm gonna go ahead and cross that bridge exactly when I get there, and not a moment sooner. Is that lined up? Yeah, that's pretty lined up. Okay. So now, here's our constructor, and I'm going to set him to be making wire for us automatically. And then just go ahead and make a couple more pieces of cable. Go ahead and connect those guys together. And now we can go ahead and throw in all of our copper ingots straight into here. Alright, I've also just now realized that I have not been keeping up with the checklist. Alright, yep, and with that, we are safe to go ahead and launch the next hub upgrade.
Hub upgrade 4, landing platform and utilities completed. Conveyor belts connect the output
and
of
we
one
now
building
have
to the
access
input
to
of
conveyor
another
belts,
and
which is going to be one of the most
resources.
useful things in the
Due to past
entire
incidents,
game.
I have been asked to issue a clarification. Portable miners,
So what I'm going to do is make sure that we have a good number of iron plates.
There's nothing to suggest, visually or functionally, that they can be connected. If this is something you struggle with, do not worry. Fixit has alternative uses for all their pioneers. Next objective.
Love you, Ada.
Complete hub upgrade 5.
Now we're going to go ahead and take the copper ingots from here and automatically put them into here, right? So we're going to grab our Mark 1 conveyor belt and just bring it over here straight into the conveyor belt, or straight into the constructor. Now before I actually build it, you'll notice that it says build mode default. That's kind of like a path of least resistance mode is what it's got it selected as there. Now if I click on R, that's going to change it to straight mode, which it actually did not find a good shape here for straight mode. So let me go ahead and move the constructor over to the side a bit and see if I can demonstrate what I'm talking about with straight mode. Really? Okay. Let me just move him at a 90 degree. And straight mode is going to connect all of your stuff with 90-degree angles. So later on, whenever we have a big old factory and we want to make sure everything looks nice and pretty, we're going to try to use as much of straight mode as possible. For now though, I think default mode will take us just fine because I don't think that we're in a space where we can really be finicky yet. And it does cost us just a couple more iron plates to be able to make the straight mode one. So with that, we are now, let me go ahead and connect him back. Is it clipping through the, it's clipping through the smelter a bit, but I'm not too concerned. And then we go ahead and tell it to make wire, and it is going to be automatically crafting us wire now. And with that, I would say that we've talked about belts. So now, what do we need for the next phase? Quite a bit of a lot of things is what we need. So, luckily, we now have everything that we need. We have all of the concrete that we need. And the iron shouldn't be hard. And the cable shouldn't be hard either. And with that, we now have everything that we need to go ahead and upgrade Hub.
Hub upgrade 5, power expansion completed.
So now, that's given us a whole extra biomass burner. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to take this smelter down, and I'm going to slap all of these onto a to-do list. So this is going to be a little bit of a big project for us. Alright, and now with that, we've got both of these fully set up. Both of these iron productions are going to be fully set up and operational. And one of them is going to automatically be making us iron plates. The other one is going to be automatically making us iron rods. If I remember to set it, at least, I will. And all that we've got to do now is repower these burners. So I've got 365 leaves. Put 183 there and 182 there. And they are now, it's off to the races. So the miner needs to like first dig in. I actually really do like the miner's like startup animation where it just kind of has to burrow down and truly set up. Yeah. It's gonna start coming in through the conveyor belt into the smelter to eventually get made to iron rods. Doing the same thing over here with iron plates. And with that, I would say that we have automated mining done on this to-do list. So all that's really truly left to do is just complete this phase with Hub Upgrade 6. So now, we kind of just wait. At least wait for the plates and the rods. I still need to make sure, do I have enough? Okay, I've already got enough wire. I just need to go get some more limestone to make into some more concrete. It's a bit of an odd predicament now, where before getting enough materials to go on to the next stage, we actually just ran out of power. Like, we just ran out of leaves. I'm running around trying to collect as many leaves as I can, hoping to get to a solid 500 before I go back. I'm going to go ahead and take those 500 leaves and get back to the base. Now, one cool fun fact about this game is that if you are at full health, you will never, ever, 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 ever die from fall damage. Now, you wouldn't have died from fall damage from that height anyway, but even if I was like jumping from all the way up there to all the way down here somehow, you will never die from fall damage in this game if you are at full health. It'll take you down to, I think you have 3 hit points that remain. Alright, so slap those leaves in, slap those leaves in, give it a big crank, and she's up and running again. Oh yeah, she is munching through those leaves like crazy. but it won't be too much longer before we have a little bit more automated of a biomass set up. So I'll see y'all in a few minutes. Alright guys, we now have everything that we'll need. So go ahead and slap all of this in. Upgrade the hub.
Hub upgrade 6.
And with that, we have completed tier 0.
Congratulations, you have completed onboarding and achievements.
And also the biggest thing that this upgrade got us just now was biomass. Obviously, space elevator is going to be a much bigger thing that we're going to deal with later, but biomass, guys. This stuff is going to be so useful, and it's the sole reason why I've been saving up all that wood. Biomass is what we're going to be using in our biomass generators from here on out. Or actually, no, not from here on out, because later we're going to get access to solid biofuel, which is going to be even better. But now, went ahead and just made a little bit of biomass. And if I come over here, we see that these leaves can be going through at about 80 per minute. It's not actually going through at 80 per minute, but that's just worst case scenario, right? Well, we're going to actually go ahead and pull out all of these leaves, throw in some biomass instead, and yeah, that is a single-digit number, 6.67 per minute. Whenever we get these in, whenever we get the bigger biomass burners, these guys each only generate 20 megawatts, but there are some bigger ones that'll do 30. This is going to pull at exactly 10 per minute, as opposed to what would have been 120 per minute for the leaves. So this is so worth it, and is going to be consuming it's going to be so much more efficient, guys. Honestly, once biomass gets integrated, the whole biomass generator issue is not like resolved, but it's a lot less of an issue at this point. Now, we've completed phase 0. So with that, we've done the full tutorial, and we now have a solid grasp of exactly how this game is played. Let me go ahead and get a little bit of a elevation going. Actually, you can get on top of this if you do it just right. So, with that, we're now automatically doing wire, or semi-automatically doing wire. We don't actually have it hooked up to a resource node yet to do the mining automatically, but pretty close, pretty close. We've also got iron rods being fully automatically produced. We've also got iron plates being fully automatically produced. We've completed tier 0 to its entirety. We've interacted with just about everything that tier 0 had to offer. And with that, guys, I'm going to have to see y'all in the next one. Until then, take care. They really do just love kind of... Okay, that was freaky.